Are you secretly, slowly killing your favorite indoor plants while trying to save them? Today, we are talking about one of the most popular viral gardening hacks on the internet. Yes, I am talking about soaking banana peels in a jar of water to feed your plants. I know it sounds like a brilliant, free, and eco-friendly way to boost your plant growth, but I promise you, you need to stop doing this immediately. In this video, we are going to expose the dark, gross truth about what this cloudy fruit water is actually doing to your precious soil. I'm going to show you why everything you thought you knew about this magic fertilizer is entirely wrong. But do not worry. By the end of this video, I will reveal several incredible, scientifically proven methods to actually get those amazing nutrients to your plants safely. Tell me the truth right now. Have you ever poured a jar of old banana water into your plant pots? Let me know in the comments below, and let us dive into the facts. To understand why this is such a disaster, we first need to look at how this crazy trend started. Over the last few years, short videos on social media platforms exploded, with influencers dropping leftover banana peels into mason jars, filling them with tap water, and leaving them on the kitchen counter for a couple of days. The logic seems absolutely bulletproof at first glance. We all know from elementary school health class that bananas are packed with potassium, calcium, and phosphorus. These are exactly the macronutrients that plants need to grow strong roots and vibrant flowers. The idea was that the water would magically pull all these vitamins out of the skin, creating a free, liquid fertilizer. Millions of people tried it, hoping for a miracle houseplant cure. But the science of plant biology and soil chemistry tells a completely different, much darker story. Let us start by exposing the biggest misconception about banana peel water, which is the famous potassium myth. You have probably heard that bananas are packed with potassium, and therefore, soaking them in water creates a magical energy drink for your plants. But what is really happening under the surface? The truth is, the nutrients inside a raw banana peel are locked up tight within complex organic cell structures. When you simply soak the peel in water for a few days, you are not actually extracting the heavy doses of potassium your indoor plants need. You are mostly just extracting sugars and a tiny trace of surface minerals. Think of it like this. Imagine you are incredibly hungry, and someone hands you a locked steel safe with a delicious sandwich inside. You can lick the outside of the safe all you want, but you are not getting the calories. Your plant roots experience the exact same frustration. They cannot absorb those complex organic molecules directly. For the roots to actually use the potassium, phosphorus, and calcium from that banana skin, the peel needs to be broken down by millions of soil microbes over a long period of time. So, when you pour that murky banana water into your little potted pothos, you are essentially pouring a placebo. You are feeding the soil with sugars, but you are definitely not delivering an instant potassium boost. It is a classic gardening myth that looks great on camera, but fails completely in biological reality. Now that we know the nutrients are locked away, let us look at the first massive disaster this trend causes, which is the sudden explosion of mold and fungus. Remember how I mentioned that soaking banana peels extracts a lot of sugar? Well, when you pour that sugary banana water onto the surface of your potting soil, you are laying out an all-you-can-eat buffet for fungal spores. Houseplant soil is typically kept in warm, indoor environments with poor air circulation. This is already a risky situation for fungal growth. By adding liquid sugar to the mix, you accelerate this process aggressively. Within just a few days of using banana water, you might notice a fuzzy white or gray layer growing right on top of the dirt. This is not a sign of healthy organic activity. It is a warning sign. The fungus is rapidly consuming the sugars, and while doing so, it can suffocate your plant roots. A great visual illustration of this is leaving a wet piece of bread on your kitchen counter in the middle of summer. You know exactly how fast that turns green and fuzzy. The same gross science experiment is happening inside your beloved plant pots. Over time, this fungal overgrowth can lead to severe root rot, turning healthy white plant roots into brown, mushy string. Instead of helping your indoor jungle thrive, this viral plant care hack is actively creating a toxic, moldy swamp right in your living room. If the fuzzy mold was not enough to make you stop, let us talk about the next horrible side effect, which is turning your home into a magnet for nasty pests. Fungus gnats and fruit flies have a superpower. They can smell fermenting sugars and decaying organic matter from incredibly far distances. When you pour uncomposted banana water into your pots, you are basically sending up a massive flare gun signal to every flying insect in your neighborhood. The sugars in the water begin to ferment slightly in the warm soil. This creates the perfect breeding ground for fungus gnats. These tiny black flies will lay hundreds of eggs in the damp, sugary topsoil. Soon, you will have a full infestation. A perfect example of this nightmare is when you walk up to your favorite monstera plant to admire a new leaf, and suddenly a dark cloud of tiny flies buzzes right into your face. It is incredibly frustrating and very hard to get rid of once it starts. The larvae of these gnats live in the soil and will actually start chewing on the delicate microscopic root hairs of your plants, causing the leaves to turn yellow and drop off. People often wonder why their indoor plants look sick after trying the banana peel trick, and they usually blame a lack of sunlight. In reality, they have accidentally invited an invisible army of hungry larvae to feast on the root system, all because of a little sugary fruit water. So we have covered the mold and the bugs, but there is another extremely unpleasant detail that no one mentions in those quick social media videos. I am talking about the terrible odor. Creating banana water requires leaving organic fruit matter to sit in stagnant water at room temperature for several days. This is not a clean, sterile process. It is the beginning stages of rot. As the bacteria begin to feast on the degrading peel inside your jar, they release gases. When you unscrew the lid to water your plants, the smell can be absolutely awful. Picture the smell of a garbage dumpster behind a fruit market on a blazing hot summer afternoon. That is the exact aroma you are bringing into your clean, comfortable living space. Even after you pour the water into the soil, the foul scent lingers in the air and in the dirt. Houseplants are supposed to bring a sense of freshness, nature, and beauty into our homes. They clean the air and boost our mood. Pouring rotting fruit juice all over them completely ruins that peaceful atmosphere. Many beginner plant parents end up throwing their plants away completely because they think the soil has gone bad naturally, not realizing that the terrible smell was artificially introduced by this viral gardening hack. You really have to ask yourself, is a tiny, unproven drop of potassium really worth making your living room smell like an abandoned compost pile? So, does this mean banana peels are completely useless for your plants? Absolutely not. Let us look at the right way to use them, starting with the absolute gold standard, which is traditional composting. If you really want to unlock the rich potassium, phosphorus, and calcium trapped inside those peels, you have to let nature do its proper work. You need to toss those peels into an outdoor compost bin or a dedicated worm bin. In a proper compost system, a complex army of beneficial bacteria, fungi, earthworms, and heat work together to completely break down the tough cellular walls of the banana. This process transforms the raw fruit waste into rich, dark, earthy compost. Imagine taking rough, unwearable sheep wool and spinning it into a soft, luxurious sweater. That is what the composting process does to the nutrients in the peel. It makes them accessible. Once the peel is fully decomposed into black dirt, you can mix that finished compost directly into your potting soil. At this stage, the nutrients are completely water-soluble and ready for your plant roots to absorb instantly. Plus, finished compost smells like a fresh forest floor, not like rotting garbage. It holds moisture, improves soil structure, and provides a slow release of gentle plant food over several months. This is the only scientifically sound way to turn your breakfast leftovers into high-quality houseplant fertilizer. But what if you live in a small apartment and you simply do not have the space for a big, messy outdoor compost bin? Do not worry. There is a brilliant indoor alternative that is clean, pest-free, and highly effective. You can actually bake your banana peels. The process is incredibly simple. Instead of soaking the peels in water, you lay them flat on a baking sheet and put them in your oven at a very low temperature. Let them slowly roast until they turn completely black, dry, and crispy like a potato chip. Once they are fully dehydrated, take them out and let them cool down. Then, toss those crispy peels into a blender or a coffee grinder and pulse them until they turn into a fine, dark powder. This completely eliminates the moisture and the sugars that attract bugs and mold. You have essentially created a dry, concentrated potassium fertilizer right in your kitchen. A great way to visualize this is making your own homemade spice blend. You can store this magic banana powder in a glass jar for months without any bad smells. When your plants need a little boost, simply sprinkle a small spoonful of this powder onto the top of the dry soil and gently scratch it into the surface. Every time you water the plant normally, a tiny bit of those concentrated nutrients will release safely into the soil without causing a massive fungal outbreak. Now, if you are a stubborn fan of liquid fertilizers and you absolutely must make a liquid feed out of your fruit scraps, there is a legitimate scientific method for this. It is called anaerobic fermentation, heavily used in natural farming techniques. But it is very different from simply soaking a peel in a glass of tap water for 2 days. To do this correctly, you must mix the chopped banana peels with an equal weight of brown sugar or molasses in a sealed, airtight jar. The high sugar content pulls the juices and nutrients completely out of the plant matter through osmosis. Over several weeks or even months, beneficial lactic acid bacteria will ferment the mixture, similar to how cabbage turns into sauerkraut or how grapes turn into wine. The visual here is a dark, bubbling, syrupy potion sitting in your pantry. Because it is properly fermented, the acidity level drops significantly, which kills off the bad rotting bacteria and preserves the liquid. Once this dark syrup is fully fermented and smells sweet and sour rather than rotten, you must strain it. Then you dilute just 1 single teaspoon of this powerful serum into a massive gallon of clean water before giving it to your plants. This method actually extracts the nutrients safely, avoids the horrible smell of rot, and provides an immediate biological boost to the soil microbes without attracting those annoying fruit flies. Finally, we need to talk about the easiest and most reliable solution of all for feeding your indoor plants. Let us be completely honest with ourselves. If your houseplant is turning yellow, dropping leaves, and desperately crying out for nutrients, a do-it-yourself fruit scrap experiment is not the best immediate rescue plan. You should skip the kitchen chemistry and reach for a high-quality, professionally formulated organic liquid fertilizer. Products like liquid kelp extract, fish emulsion, or specially brewed worm-casting tea are heavily researched and perfectly balanced. They provide not just potassium, but the exact, precise ratios of nitrogen, phosphorus, and essential micronutrients like iron and magnesium that indoor plants crave. Think of it like giving a sick person a scientifically formulated vitamin infusion at the hospital, rather than just handing them a raw potato and hoping they feel better. These commercial organic fertilizers are designed to be instantly available, meaning the roots can drink them up the very same second you water the soil. They are also sterilized, so you never have to worry about introducing mold spores, nasty bacteria, or fungus gnat eggs into your expensive, rare plant collection. By choosing a proper fertilizer, you save yourself a massive amount of time. You keep your home smelling fresh, and you guarantee that your beautiful plants get exactly what they need to grow huge, vibrant, healthy leaves. So, here is the big plot twist we have uncovered today. Pouring banana peel water on your indoor plants is not a magic fertilizer hack. It is actually just pouring raw sugar water into your pots. This terrible habit causes horrible root suffocation, creates a breeding ground for nasty fungus gnats, and makes your living room smell like a garbage can. The real secret to happy plants is giving them nutrients they can actually absorb. Whether you choose to properly compost your scraps outdoors, bake them into a dry organic powder in your kitchen, or simply buy a reliable bottle of liquid kelp, you are now equipped with the actual science of plant care. You just saved your entire indoor jungle from a sticky, moldy disaster. Thank you so much for watching and learning the truth with me today. If this video helped you avoid a massive plant care mistake, please hit that subscribe button and leave a like. It really helps the channel grow. Now, I have a question for you to answer in the comments. What is the absolute weirdest internet plant hack you have ever tried? And did it actually work, or did it end in total disaster? Tell me your story down below, and I will see you in the next video.